What is up, everyone, and welcome to some more F1 23 League Racing. We are here for the Streamers and Co VRL round number 4 of season 3, and we are going to be at the French Grand Prix for the first time we've ever done this in the Streamers and Co VRL. I am very excited for this one. This is a track that I typically go quite well at. If you watch my most recent career mode race around here, you'll know that I got a fairly decent result around here as well, and I'm hoping that that form can translate into a pretty good result here for the team's home race as well. Of course, I am racing for Alpine this season along with the man from France, RH Anto, and I'm very looking forward to me and him hopefully scoring big points for the team, maybe bringing home a podium, maybe even a double podium, who knows. Perhaps I'm being a bit too optimistic with that suggestion, but we will see what kind of form we can get ourselves into as we get into the qualifying session. So we're out here on a fresh set of soft compound tyres, and we're going to see what kind of times we can do. The times people are doing are going to be around the 128s, 129s roughly, I would say, and we do a 130.7 to kick things off. It's not fantastic. I definitely think there's potential for us to just about get into the 129s, but it's going to take a pretty strong lap from me towards the end of the session, so we'll see what we can do. We were improving by quite a bit on this lap, but unfortunately I had a horrible run into that final corner, and as a result I lost about 0.2 of a second to go down to a 130.3, and I was seeing Jermaine and Phil were a couple tenths ahead of me, so I was thinking to myself, right, final lap, I know where the improvement is, let's get it and see what we can do. But as we came into the final few corners of the lap, I actually wasn't improving anywhere near as much as I was hoping. You can see that I'm actually down on my time at this stage as I come into the final few corners, and so it's basically all on this final corner getting that time made up. We come through the corner a bit nicer this time, but I don't quite get the power down as early as I would have liked, and as a result we don't really save that much time through this corner. So we come to the line, it's a 130.2, and it's going to be no higher than P10. However, the good news is that you're about to see is that we do end up getting P10 after all. So we will be starting in the points for the French Grand Prix, and hopefully we can only make our way forward. We've got a few cars in front of us who I would say that we definitely have the potential to finish ahead of in the race. Taz in particular and Jermaine, those are the two drivers I'm looking at intently. We've seen that we've raced with Bjarni quite a lot throughout the season as well. However, on this occasion, Bjarni actually is looking pretty fast, 7/10 faster than us in qualifying. From his form in season 2, he's actually improved quite a lot, and it's been really good to race with him where I can. But it seems like he's really taken his game up a level or two since season 2, so it might be quite difficult to beat him. But I definitely am targeting sort of P8 for this race. I think has got to be the minimum we go for here, and I'm sure that there's going to be some chaos out in front as well that might promote me up the order or something like that. But in any case, we will see whether we can compete or not. I'm going to go with the default strategy, soft to medium, but I might pit a lap or two early. You know what it's like, the undercut meta. It's so very real in pretty much every scenario that's possible. You see it all the time. If you watch my career mode videos, I go for the undercut in every single race, and this race is going to be absolutely no exception to that rule whatsoever. So yeah, hopefully we can get a strong result, maybe undercut a few cars with this undercut meta we're going for. We'll see whether other people cotton onto it as well, and we'll see how we go as we get ready for the lights to come on here. We will see what we can do in the French Grand Prix as the lights come on. And the lights go out. We were held for a very long time, but we have finally gotten underway, and we are coming under pressure from KK on the medium compound tyres. We might be losing out a position here. However, Phil, he's backed off a little bit. We've braked nice and early to make sure we get to turn 1, but KK's dive bombed up the inside, made his way up into P10, and it's a good start from the McLaren driver there, and we have to settle down into P11. I'm just kind of, I'm just kind of trying to hold position right now. I guess that's the aim of the game, is to just try and hold on to what we've got and see what we can do, as Denzel tries to go for a bit of a half-hearted look up the inside there, but there wasn't really any space there, unfortunately, and we just have to settle. So yeah, we're going to see if we can try and close down KK, get back ahead of him as quickly as possible. You know, he's a decent driver, but you know, somewhat incident prone, I would say, is probably the fairest assessment I could give of him. And Phil's had a moment there. Maybe we can try and go for a move on him as KK squeezes him off track. That's going to be one warning for Phil, so keep an eye out to see if he gets any penalties later in the race. Unfortunately, I don't think we're quite close enough to be able to capitalise on this, if I had to guess, and we're just going to have to settle in to, I was going to say into P11, but actually we've made up a couple of positions there, I believe on Bjarni and Stayed Body in the Alfa Romeo and the Alfa Tauri respectively. Try and look for a move up the inside of KK, can't quite get the traction out of the corner, and now Alex is looking for a double overtake up the inside of myself and KK. Definitely shoved KK off track there, but you know, who's judging? That's allowed Denzel to have a look up my inside as well, and now he's just gone off the track for no reason. So yeah, not sure what's up with that. And as we come through the final corner, Denzel has a bit of oversteer there. We collect Con as a result of that, and yeah, that is going to be us round, and very unfortunately at the back of the grid now. Wouldn't let me reset to track. Even if it had, I don't think it would have made a difference. There's a very tight field there, and we've fallen down into P18, so we're going to have to try and make a really, really solid recovery now throughout the remainder of this race. It's not going to be easy, but I believe that we have the pace to be able to do it. So now we're trying to put some pressure on Bryn in front of us, and we will see whether we can get past him nice and quickly in the Aston Martin. He's got pretty good pace, all things considered, but I think in the race he struggles to hook up consistent laps. I think that's probably his biggest weakness at the moment. So once he sort of gets on top of the consistency issue that he's been having, I think he has the potential to be a very strong driver in this league. If you look at his time trial times, they're actually probably even faster than mine. Not that I tend to do too much time trial practice, but you know, that's just a personal thing for me. So yeah, we made it past Bryn, and now we're going to see how many more people we can get past as we make our way onto lap number 7. We're approaching the pit window. However, I was keeping one eye on Phil's stream. As you can see, that RC's gone round there, and we've managed to make up another position there, which is nice. But yeah, I was keeping one eye on Phil's stream. He was streaming at the time while this race was going on, and there were some sort of murmurs from him that he was going to pit at the end of this lap. So I took that, I looked at that, and I went, okay, if he pits at the end of this lap, I will pit at the end of this lap as well, because he was on the soft compound tyres along with myself. Not too many people starting on the softs here, most people opting for the mediums, but I figured if I boxed this lap onto the mediums, I could go for a pretty sizable undercut on some of the cars in front. So that was my logic here, and yeah, I saw he dived into the pits, so I made the call, and I'm going to box at the end of this lap for a set of medium compound tyres to the end of the race. Now, 12 laps on the mediums. I wasn't 100% sure whether this was going to be a good strategy or not, but I figured, you know, I've got to try something. Maybe there'll be a late safety car, and maybe we can capitalise on that. But for now, we're going to be going right back down to 17th, and just hoping that we can get a big undercut on some of the cars that are currently you know, hovering around 3 or 4 seconds in front of us before we pitted. That's got to be the target here, I would say, is to undercut. There's a big train of cars starting with the Alfa Romeo of Con, I believe that is. And if we can break past all of those guys, that's got to be the target. So as we make our way onto the start of lap 10, you can see that some of these cars were starting to come into the pit lane, including Con and Beak, my former teammate, of course, now in the Red Bull, and we've undercut them beautifully. We're a few seconds ahead of them now, so yeah, hopefully we'll be able to keep them behind. However, these tyres will start to go off towards the end of the race. But the one thing that was quite optimistic for me, as we're now going to undercut KK as well, is that a lot of cars had penalties. A lot of people struggling to keep it on the track. I think at this stage I'd had one warning myself, so I was keeping half an eye on making sure I didn't exceed track limits too much towards the end of the race as well. And now Bjarni and Stayed Body are coming in as well. Those two, of course, came together at the beginning of the race. I'm sure they would have liked to have been a bit further ahead, and that has promoted us up into the points paying positions. So we'll see how long we can stay here for. However, you can see that Con is catching us quite quickly, and as we make our way towards the end of lap 12, you can see that Con is now right on our tail as Taz is coming into the pits. So yeah, we're going to be about P9 or P10 come the end of this straight, depending on whether Con goes for the move or not. I decided that given that he had penalties and so many people in this race had penalties, my thought process was I just want to let the cars go as much as I can, not fight with them too hard, to kind of just allow them to sort of fall back behind me with the penalties, see if I can cling to the back of him. But, you know, I did mutter under my breath at that point when Con went very slowly through that first corner that it wasn't an invitation for him to back me up into the rest of the pack. It was more of an invitation for him to just drive at his true pace, and I'll try and just stay with him on the back of him if I can. But these tyres already, after 6 laps, were not feeling fantastic compared to these fresh mediums and softs that everybody else was on. Definitely I'd gone through another tyre phase compared to most of the drivers around me. So Bjarni, you can see now, going for the overtake in the DRS zone as well. once again, I'm not really close enough to even consider going for a move around the outside of him, so I let Bjarni go, and I imagine Stayed Body will have a go at us in the not too distant future as well, and probably my former teammate Beak as well. Probably the first time in the whole league that me and Beak have been close together. Obviously I know I've been caught up in incidents and not on what you could consider to be the optimal tyre strategy. As we try and go for a move on Con, doesn't quite work. We have to really back out there because Stayed Body was coming fast up the inside, and I saw a world in which I got crunched between those two cars. So yeah, we're gonna let Beak go if he has a challenge on us as well, because I don't want to get myself caught up in a lot of incidents here or anything like that, or needlessly cost myself time when, you know, Stayed Body's got 8 seconds of penalties. Con and Bjarni I think had 3 seconds of penalties each. Beak has 6 seconds of penalties. Like, you know, I was asking myself, is it really worth it to fight with these guys really hard when I could just try and cling to somewhat of a DRS train? However, they had such better pace than me that even that didn't seem to be possible, and it was looking like we were potentially just going to fall down the order further and further. The strategy is really not working out for us on this occasion, sadly, I don't think. So yeah, here comes Beak up the inside as we go through the DRS zone, and like I said, not prepared to fight this one too hard with my former teammate, just letting him through, not really battling out too much, getting another track limits warning. That's my second one now, so we've got to be very careful. I got a bit worried for a second there, because when I went on that outside curb on the exit as well, I thought that I'd actually got another penalty, so or another warning, which would have been a penalty, I should say. So I was quite glad that that didn't happen. But yeah, chasing behind Beak at the moment, just trying to stay with him. He gets another 3 seconds of penalties, and we're going to try and see if we can get back past him now with the DRS. Obviously, you know, whilst I said I was going to let him go, I'm not prepared to be stupid about it. You know, we're just going to do what we can. Bryn has retired in the pit lane. However, I was keeping one eye on that, because I know that retiring in the pit lane, sometimes it can still bring you back out on track, and that could bring out a safety car. A safety car is probably the best thing that could possibly happen to us right now, and that's what I was thinking in the race as well at the time. I was saying a safety car would be the best thing in the world, because it would give me a chance to probably pit again onto a set of soft compound tyres, which would allow me to, you know, kind of make a bit more of a challenge on some of these guys in front of me. But also, because so many of them have such big penalties, I think it would promote me quite significantly up the order, definitely into the points, and maybe into a very strong position. So yeah, I was kind of crossing my fingers for a safety car at this point. As you can see, it did bring Bryn back out on track, and KK retiring from the session at the same time has brought out the safety car. This was a big win for me, and I was very, very glad to see that this had happened here. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to fully capitalise on this, and you know, close up to some of the cars around us. And yeah, you can see safety car out there on the racing line, moves off the racing line. I looked away from my screen for 1 second and went straight into the back of the safety car. I was absolutely distraught that I'd done that. Entirely my own fault, completely amateur mistake. You know, just look away from the screen for 2 seconds and your race is over. And just like that, I was adding to that pile of people who were out of the race. It was such a shame. I had such a great opportunity to score points here, and it's not happening. It's not happening. But some solace I can take from this is that one Alpine did score points today, and that is Anto, P3 for the boy. Great result, and yeah, really, really happy for my teammate getting on the podium there. And you will see the full top 3 in just a moment as we go to the podium ceremony. It was Lewis, P1, Ryan in P2, and Anto in P3. So yeah, really happy for all of these guys. Lewis showing some real strong pace around France all weekend, and Ryan just in the right place at the right time, and that was good enough for him to get P2. So yeah, very solid result for him. I'm sure he'll be very happy with that, because it will help McLaren's chances of doing well in the championship as well. But yeah, for me, just a complete rookie error. These things happen from time to time. It's just a shame that it happened on a weekend where I absolutely would have been odds on to score points there, I would say, with that safety car. But anyway, here's your full order for the race. It was Lewis P1, Ryan P2, and Anto P3. Then you had Alex finishing P4 after a penalty was applied, and then we had Jermaine, Phil, Dustin, Denzel, Bjarni, and Costa rounding out the top 10. Costa did end up getting a post-race penalty, but it didn't affect him in the end. Stayed Body left early. I believe that he was classified 11th, but he ended up finishing 12th after a post-race penalty for him. So Con was promoted to P11. Then it was Beak 13th, Taz 14th, and RC 15th. And yeah, that was pretty much the story of that race. That's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed, please make sure you like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.